Sort of break it down like this.
Welcome to the Gang Hang, children. A little...
Clap, goddammit.
I will. Gang Hang. So, housekeeping first. We're going to be moving Gang Hang recordings to YouTube so they can live in infamy forever instead of getting erased off SoundCloud, after a month or whatever. So, with that in mind.
We don't pay for SoundCloud and it sucks.
Don't say anything that's going to get you fired, Just think about that. Anything else? I don't care. Just don't say anything to get you fired. That's all I ask. Today.
It's going to be hard.
It's not easy.
We don't pay.
It's not easy.
We don't pay any of them, so whatever.
So I think you can click on the screen that I'm sharing and blow it up if you want to.
You can click watch stream.
But we're going to do a little mystery science theater together, and we're all going to watch the Aquaman theme, the Aquaman.
Oh, I would love it if it put our little heads in front of it. That would be fun.
That's technology we just don't have access to, I'm afraid.
we sent a robot to Mars, but we can't.
It's true.
We can't do this.
And then we're going to react. We're going to watch it together, and we're going to react. Here we go. Let's do it.
4 years ago, I was basically unemployed. A wanderer.
Momoa looks great. Of course.
Home.
Sexy as hell.
But now,
it does put our heads down there. This is working great.
Father.
He's a dad?
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Mm-hmm. This is my first viewing, by the way. I have not watched it.
My job was
Aqua Baby.
So who would Aqua Baby be? Is this the baby that died in the comics, theoretically?
In the comics, the baby is murdered.
Okay.
The kid is murdered by Black Manta.
So we got more bad undersea CG with
job.
UFOs.
I'm the king of Atlantis. 500 million people.
Atlantis looks a little better.
Every known species in the sea call this place home.
Okay, that looks more Atlantis to me. They changed it, right?
It definitely looks more like a
destroy everything he holds
lived-in alien.
It's like the first one that looked like Logan's Run underwater.
And burn his kingdom to ash.
Black Manta powered up, apparently.
It must be stopped, or a global meltdown is imminent.
Who was that?
I think I know someone I might go.
That's Yaya Abdul-Mateen.
No. The woman that was talking.
Rough.
That's Nicole Kidman. Mom.
That was Kidman? Yeah. Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
His mom.
Atlanta.
Brother.
Yeah, there you go.
I cannot believe you let this happen.
Brother team up, huh?
All right. His job.
True king builds bridges, right?
What is this? Is this Pellucidar? Center of the Earth business?
We need to find Manta.
He's different now. He's stronger than before.
Still wearing that dumb outfit, though.
Yeah. Still got a great big old head.
Time, there were 7 kingdoms.
That outfit's iconic.
The Roboctopus. There it is. Roboctopus. Oh, it's Matrix sized, too.
He means to end the bloodline.
That means kill the baby.
I don't know what lies ahead, but we can't leave our children in a world without hope.
You're not as bad at this as you think.
Oh, very Matrix. This is giving me huge Matrix
The
vibes.
7 kingdoms will follow.
Roboctopus. There it is.
Yep.
He rode the giant starfish.
Get this crap out of the way. God damn it.
Oh, yeah, the ad. Whatever.
YouTube sucks.
All right. Okay.
I like YouTube. Let me finish a thing.
Yeah, no shit. Okay, so let's react. What do we think?
How do I get out of this?
I like the brother team up thing. That's kind of fun, right?
Yep.
Brother team
Matthew,
up is fun.
how do I stop watching this stupid stream?
Grandpa,
there we go.
you learn how to use Discord.
There was no option. There was no option to get out of it.
I stopped streaming, so
I'm back.
The brother team up was fun. I think Atlantis looks better. I think it looks a lot better. I did not like how it looked last time.
I'm not sure what you were complaining about with the CG earlier. The CG's not bad. It's a trailer.
It's just that dark underwater UFO. Oh, you're underwater doing this? Okay. Could be in space.
They're at the bottom of the ocean.
Could be on an alien planet. Like, whatever. Just nothing says Aquaman about it to me when they do that shit.
Well, it can't hit worse than Flash.
Except for all the bubbles.
It cannot. I agree.
Bubbles.
It can't get worse than The Flash, which looked like a good PS4 game. Not even a good PS5 game.
Maybe. Mid at least. The mid-end. There you go. Yeah, I wouldn't even go that far.
Okay.
I don't know, man. You're barking up the wrong tree if you want if you're looking for criticism from me, because I liked Aquaman 1. And
Yeah,
this
we
looked
know you
good
did.
to me. Like, this trailer looked fun to me.
It looks. I think it looks better. I think this looks more engaging and better. And I hope they're not doing the snarling tough guy WWE Momoa King of the Ocean, because that's just dumb. I don't need that.
Yeah, he seems to be like a lot of good banter, at least.
Yeah,
based on
he's
what
like
said in the
fun time
trailer.
having. But you know what? He wasn't really like that in the first movie either. Like he was a. Yeah, he was.
He
you
was
know, maybe
doing
a
the
jerk
Rock.
or what?
He was channeling the Rock, no question. And Momoa, love you. You're not the Rock, brother.
I don't know what that means, Matt.
He was doing the eye and everything, and like, he was doing the Rock. He was doing the macho. Well, I don't think so. The whole time.
Yeah, there's
flexing,
lots of
like-
actors that do macho. He's an action hero, but
Listen,
anyway,
you know there was not one action hero before The Rock. So that was
right.
that
Nor
was
have there
invented in
been
2001. Yeah.
any.
I'm saying
nor have
he's
there been
doing-
any
Hold on.
Yeah.
Back up for a second. Well, Jason Momoa also on Stargate as well, so he's
Yes.
been doing the tough guy thing before the Rock.
yeah,
was.
dude.
No, he has. I'm not saying he hasn't. The best thing he did in
Yeah, when
Stargate was not talk too much. So, he was pretty quiet in
Well,
Stargate.
But yeah,
It's
macho
hard to
is
cast
like
as
kind
the
of thing.
movie and not talk a lot.
Yeah.
True.
I-
That is true.
I think it visually looks better than the first one.
Agreed.
I watched a bunch of. So I watched the teaser and then that was out earlier in the week for this, and then a couple clips from the first one, and it visually looks good. The story's going to make the difference. Like it's hard because name one good Aquaman comic.
Yeah. Okay. I
Like
mean,
a
look,
legit. I mean, like when you
there's
sit
good
down,
Aquaman
you
comics.
know,
I like the Peter David Aquaman run. There was good stuff.
there's run, but is there like it's
There are
there's
no classic iconic Aquaman.
there's no
Like, right.
evergreen. This is if you're only going to read one Aquaman story.
There's
there.
no like Dark Knight Returns for
Yeah.
Aquaman. There's no
Fair. That's totally fair.
Aquaman
there's not
for
an
all
Aquaman
seasons.
for all seasons. Oh my god!
Exactly. There you go. There
Brian,
you
we're
go.
twins.
Okay, look,
That's it.
All
All right,
we
shut
need
it down,
to
guys.
see,
Shut it down.
yeah, all we need to. all
We
we
got
need to
this.
see
Thanks for
is
joining the Gang Hang. We'll see you next week. All right.
There you go. No, listen. If Arthur loses his hand and gets a water hand, that's when I'm going to be out.
Yeah.
Water hand.
Yeah.
What if he just gets a harpoon that shoots out of his
I'm
wrist?
okay with the hook
There
hand.
you
go.
Awesome.
If he gets harpoon hand, I'm back in.
Yeah. You know what? I think this is fun. Like excited is not the word I would use, but I would be
Interested.
because I'm more
me too.
right. Exactly. Because I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to close the door
Hold
on
that thought.
the old stuff.
Put a pin in that, Joe, because I want to discuss what happens with this. First, I just want to discuss let's talk about shit we saw in the trailer. Aqua Baby. This is their kid. Him and Mira's
Precedent.
kid
Mira and Aquaman's kid, yes.
that died in the comics.
Yes.
The kid was killed by Black Manta in the pages of an Aquaman story many, many years ago in the early 80s, long ago.
Okay. So
And
Aqua Baby doesn't
yeah.
die in this movie because this is the last movie.
there's no fucking way. There's no way they kill a baby in this movie.
Right?
I know. Listen, hold on. Do you remember that panel in that comic where where Black Manta stands like on his ship and he's just like, "How's the wife and kids?" That was effed up.
Yeah.
If they do that, then I'll be like, all right, I guess that was worth it.
Okay, so Black Manta is back. If he's going to be the bad guy, you got to power him up because it doesn't make any sense. The first movie, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, so you just got your ass kicked by Aquaman. You're like, I want another shot. Like, shut up. You lost, dude. No. It's not how it works. If you're a boxer and
so
you get knocked out in the first round, no one's like, oh, man, I got to see that rematch. You know?
Well, he wanted it real bad.
I guess.
But so yeah, he's empowered by there's this magical artifact, the Black Trident. They talk about in the trailer,
Okay. Is that a thing
and it's like
in the comics?
it's like the evil version of the trident or whatever that like Arthur used to whatever in the first movie. And they did it in the comics as well, where like Aquaman had to find, except it was the five dent. It had 5 points where he had to find the ancient staff of the staff of the ancient king of Atlantis or whatever, and this is the evil version of that. I don't remember anything about that for
let's see.
in the comics about the Black Trident, but
I mean, if we're Jason, just what we see in the trailer, I mean, I kind of think we get the idea. It's the evil trident, like you said, and it apparently resurrects like the undead, based on what I saw, because they were definitely
I don't know.
zombie mermen there.
Okay, the Black Trident
thought-
is not explored in the comics, from what I
And that's
understand.
fine.
It's a new thing. So
So I we talked when the trailer came out. You mentioned the trench, Matt, and how the trench was going to be about the sequel was going to be about the trench. And I didn't remember that the same way. And so I did some research, and the trench was going to be a completely separate project. They were like, we're so all in on Aquaman.
Oh, that was going to be a different movie. You're right.
Before we even talk about an Aquaman 2, we're going to develop this trench project as a separate movie. And they wanted to do, they wanted a whole Aquaman cinematic universe where they could have projects that explored all of the 7 kingdoms.
Was the trench the Jeff Johns? That was a Jeff Johns thing with
the trench was the vampire,
the fish people or whatever the hell they were. They were vampires.
Yeah, they were
the
forgotten race trapped at in the deepest part of the ocean, and they evolved into
flesh-eating
savage,
piranha people, like you said,
piranha people, basically, And so that was going to be a completely separate, that was going to be a completely separate project, and then obviously things changed, and now Aquaman 2 is going on, but I thought that I saw the trench or something trench-esque in this trailer, and I'm wondering if that's what the scary bitey fish people are
they incorporated it, and maybe
if they kind of
I know you want to
let's
kill
take
us,
a little bit of that trench idea and put it in here.
But we got to stop the Matrix Master Control Unit from sending out the Roboctopuses, so you got to team up with us, trench monsters, and we have a big smackdown, right?
Aquaman's got a
or the trench gets controlled by Black Manta as a mindless drones kind of thing.
I buy that.
Aquaman and Ocean Master are on a quest to find the Aqua Merovingian.
Yeah.
Who's gonna who's got
they have one trench guy that wears sunglasses, and he's like
aqua vampires and werewolves, but not really, right? Like,
you have been a thorn in our side for too long. And he's like real calm and cool, and he also knows kung fu,
Boy, those Matrix sequels are tough. Oof.
Yeah, they are.
They gotta James Wan has to throw everything at the wall because this is it. So go big or don't bother.
I actually have a question to that thing. So the way that the Flash ended with Aquaman when they show Arthur, this is not that same version, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, this is like a whole different universe, right?
Yeah.
I think I think that's the whole thing. Is that it could. Time will tell, but it very well could be the same person. Well, it should be the same. We don't know when that happens, though.
This needs to be this. I mean, this has to be the same Aquaman from the first movie, which is the Aquaman.
This is still Snyderverse.
Yeah, it's still. Yeah.
So this movie is still the Snyder, and I would even I think it's even safe to say that the ending of the Flash also takes place in the Snyderverse. It's just that the Snyderverse got altered, and oops, it's George Clooney instead of Ben Affleck. Tooth fall out the end. Boy. And because he meets Arthur right in the post credit scene, and he's like, there's all kinds of versions of us, but blah blah blah.
Oh, spoilers for a shitty Flash movie, you guys. So
and so I think that these are still in the Snyderverse, but what the Flash did was open the door.
Do it here.
Ian, I'm gonna mute you for just a second, buddy, or if you can, just for a moment, because we were getting some stuff, but I'll bring you right back.
No,
ahead,
he's
Joe.
back. He's back.
Oh,
He
okay.
figured it out.
You're back. You got it. You are unmuted.
But I think what the Flash movie did was not erase the Snyderverse, but it introduced the idea that the multiverse. So now we can have our cake and eat it too, right? We can say, sure. Hey, look, the thing you love. Hey, jerks on the internet, the thing you loved is still here. We just took Ben Affleck away and put George Clooney in.
Right.
And then but now we're going to oops, now we're on Earth 17 or Earth 616. I don't fucking care. But and so I think this movie's still in the Snyderverse, and time will tell, as Brian said, if this is a success, if this movie is a huge success, or if Jason Momoa's portrayal of Aquaman is well regarded, and I think in general he is.
I think so. And
Will-
people really
will
like
James-
Momoa. I mean, he's
If James
great.
Gunn gets around to including Aquaman in his new DC universe, will it be Momoa or will they recast? Because Momoa is still a relatively young dude. If we're doing a younger Justice League,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like why not use Momoa?
And
I
you
don't
could
know.
very easily, now that you have set up that, the multiverse is a pile of cooked spaghetti or whatever Batman said it was, you just plucked.
Yeah,
that
but it's wet. It's wet though.
Well, yeah. So it's
also
weird to
gotta be
handle,
wet.
but you pluck that piece of spaghetti and you put it in with the new spaghetti, and there you go. Aquaman swimming around. Whoa, what's that? Whoa! And he gets sucked out of the universe.
Or not even that. Or it's just like this is a different Aquaman, but he is portrayed by the same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's possible.
Sure.
Didn't Barry say that? He said that out of everyone there's different one, but he looked exactly the same, like compared to the other universes.
Right. Like the alternate universe Barry looked the same, right?
Yeah,
I suppose.
I mean, Jason Momoa could be the. I think all the Flash really did is say it doesn't matter what we do, just we'll tell you we'll tell you how it works. Just don't worry about it.
Right.
And so we might get a brand new Aquaman. We might get Jason Momoa. We might not get any Aquaman. Who knows?
Fair enough. So now the thing I wanted to put a pin in, Joe, what you were talking about. This is the end. This is the end of the Snyderverse.
Yep.
So no matter how good this movie is, do people care? And do they go see it? Because as we know, Blue Beetle, also a good movie. People liked it. Nobody went to see it. Do people go see this movie?
I think...
Let's call her a shot. Let's call her a shot now.
I think that, the difference is Aquaman is already a known quantity and he has a movie out already. And I think that the people that cared about the first one will want to watch this.
Don't disagree. But Batman, known quantity, hugely featured in that Flash trailer. 3 Batman, or 2 Batman anyway. Nobody went and saw it. Do people care about this universe at all? Or are we done?
I don't know that people like muggles, as we call them, I don't know that muggles pay as much attention or give as much credence to whether or not something matters or what universe it takes place in. Like, I don't think anybody I don't think most people make a movie going decision based on, oh, well, they already like shut down this version of the character, so why bother?
That
like,
reinforces.
I think
if you like the movie, if you like the character and you want to see a movie, just go see the movie.
Yeah,
that's what I think people will do.
Objectively also, Michael Keaton notwithstanding as Batman, Jason Momoa is a known factor as opposed to most of, including the stars in Blue Beetle. Now, I don't know if he's like the top of the tier of needle mover, but objectively, it should at least make a little more money than Blue Beetle. I don't think there's going to be a runaway success.
I don't think so either.
No.
I think opening weekend, 50 million max. I'm calling my shot. 50 million max.
That seems like a fair amount. I don't know.
That's not a success.
So,
anything under 100 million, they're going to say bombed.
I think the problem is the entire market. Like, the world is different than it was 3 years ago.
Yes, it is.
And everything, we're still using the same dumb metrics.
Yep.
To report that stuff. And so, like, Blue Beetle came out, but also during a COVID upswing, so like people who don't want to go see the movie, people are still not going to the movies. And I think that gets overshadowed in a lot of ways, is like, you need to have those moments.
Sure.
And people are not just going to go to the movies. I don't think they do that anymore.
But people did go see Barbie. People freaked out.
Yeah, but I think Barbie's a different thing. Like that and that is, it's a lightning in a bottle kind of thing, and it's an unbelievably important movie for people, but there's not, like, if there was an Avengers movie, I don't know that it would, we've seen all this Marvel stuff. They're not making any money. The people are still around. Sure. They just don't care as much. Like, they're not as interested. Barbie was something new. I agree. New in so many different ways. Yeah. So there is a fatigue, and it's so you're saying it's got to be X amount of dollars, because when does this come out, in December? Aquaman?
I think it's December.
During flu and COVID season? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Right.
So all of a sudden people don't go back, and I'm sorry, I'll wrap in 1 second. And Variety is like, oh my God, what a failure. It's like, people don't want to get sick.
Fair enough.
So, and they say, I'm going to wait 3 months to watch this on HBO.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do.
Hold on, Damon.
I think you're right, Brian.
Respond.
Oh no, I actually was going to add to that. I don't disagree with any of that stuff. I also was I walked it back a bit because I was going to use the word superhero fatigue, and I still don't think that is a thing. No. But there is something to be said where I think that because there's so many options of these type of movies coming out, unless you're like the top of I don't know, like a Superman movie, probably like headlining Superman if it came out like whenever that's going to come out, I think it'll do good money. When you start putting names like Aquaman, even The Flash, although that was a whole other situation going on there as well with the Star, and any of these other supposed B-lists, and I don't mean to call them B-lists, but it's just what the public perceives.
What it is.
Like, do I know these guys? Yeah, and they're not going to spend money, like Brian was saying, to that degree, because of COVID, because of the fact that movie theaters are not as people want to watch stuff at home with their family, quite frankly, even without COVID at this point. The theater experience was already kind of declining as it was, and it got jettisoned when COVID happened. At this point, so if it's on streaming, they'll want to do it. They will more want to watch it.
Right. Like I think that new movies these days in general, but these kinds of movies especially, have enough going against them already. And I don't think that like public perception that a movie doesn't quote unquote matter because they're rebooting or whatever. I don't think that's a concern. I don't think that's something that actually moves the needle one way or the other in terms of like normal people seeing a movie, like you and me and the people in this room. Yeah. We might be like, well, who cares? Why bother?
Well, counterpoint to that.
We're different.
Counterpoint to that. If you don't have that nerd upswell on the internet saying, I'm so excited, I can't wait to go see this, we're all going to go to the theaters, that gently drags along the rest of your muggle buddies or your friends or your parents or whatever, you don't have a hope or a prayer, period.
But I mean, there wasn't like a nerd upswell from Aquaman 1 either.
No, but that was a different time. That was a different time where people were just going to see superhero movies. Didn't care. Like, literally didn't care. They were just like, superhero movie? $150 million first weekend, no problem. What's next? And everybody was in.
There's a reason why these supposedly critically panned movies, they still do very well in the theater. And there are certain types, like Fast and the Furious, things like that, where that's a casual movie-going experience.
Yeah.
People are more than okay doing that.
Yeah, you're massaging the reptile brain, right? Like hot babes, fast cars, Vin Diesel flexing, like, yeah. There you go.
Hey, maybe the Fast and the Furious fans will come see this movie because of Jason Momoa being in Fast
Possibly.
A.
Yeah.
I kind of doubt it. I think Aquaman, DC especially is in a really rough spot finishing this out, and they just want to get done. And I think every one of these movies that comes out makes James Gunn just shiver a little bit, going, oh, God. So we got to start this all over again. And if Superman comes out and it doesn't make $150 million in the first weekend, they're going to call it a failure. Whether it is or is not, they will call it a failure.
I think that we probably need to stop assuming we know exactly how these people judge success and failure, especially
we
given
do know because we see the news stories.
No, we don't.
We
see clickbait headlines about how a movie doesn't meet projections, blah. And I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I also understand that we have evidence of the corporate mindset in the past, where it's like a thing's not working, rip it off,
right?
Like rip the Band-Aid off, or whatever, cut off the arm. But I think that Brian is right, and that they are learning a lesson that, like, yeah, you can still have success in the cinema with something like Barbie, which is a pop culture moment. It's a cultural moment. And most movies are not cultural moments. Like, the only way we're going to get something like that is if, like, maybe the new Superman, right? Or the next Avengers movie, and where it's just like, even your mom wants to see it.
Right.
Like, my mom fucking loves this shit, and she's never read a comic book in her life. And so, like, yeah, I think these movies are going to have to be, they're going to have to be more meaningful on a cultural level than just like, wow, it was cool. You know, the effects were great and the stars were good, you know.
But there's another lesson being learned as well when you see like something like Indiana Jones that completely failed, which also looked like it was written and produced by ChatGPT. It was so soulless, I couldn't stand it. But once it went to streaming, guess what? It had a reception as big as Guardians of the Galaxy 3, as big, 4,
yeah.
and as big as, because people are like, I'm going to watch it.
No,
it's streaming.
Well, they're going to watch it at home.
Guardians of the Galaxy
3. Yeah. So it's like, there's a lesson to be learned there. Maybe there is still plenty of places for this kind of stuff, but maybe it is a streaming market, almost
I
immediately.
also think we have lots of evidence that these people are slow to learn these lessons.
Of course.
And so, like all of us armchair, business analysts are like, come on, guys, put it on Disney Plus day and date, get your shit together.
Right.
The other part of that equation, though, is don't forget, I'm sure that theater owners and, companies that they report to, there's all they have to answer to them too, which is why the whole streaming thing, they killed it almost before it even was a thing.
Yeah,
because they knew that
was in decline.
Because the film mob's not making their money, and like, boss, they're a little light in the take this week. I don't know what to tell you.
And I hate to make this connection because I love them so much, but it's almost sort of like how companies and distributors placate or make decisions to placate the comic book direct market.
Oh, absolutely. It's the
like
same
comic shops, brick and mortar comic shops, and sometimes to their detriment, right? Or to the detriment of fans. And I understand that desire. I want comic shops to be around forever. I want them to succeed. I love movie theaters. I would love it for movie theaters, but
imagine if comic shops were a multi-billion-dollar industry. They would have
it's hard
much
to
more
serve
sway.
It's very difficult to serve multiple masters.
Yeah.
And what's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander, right? Or whatever the phrase is.
And that's exactly why we still see new releases of digital comics on the day of at you're getting $6.99
full price,
30 page, which is nonsense. It should be 99 cents. Like,
I totally agree.
I am renting this thing until this company folds.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it's this and it literally happened. So the idea that but it's comic shops saying, oh my God, like this is, how could you do this to us? And then when you see younger retailers talking about it, they say it's a different market. I've got people that come in and buy trades. They read digitally. Yes. They probably don't even pay for it, and they come in and they buy the books they want, and that's great.
Yeah,
it's a different market. It's absolutely market. Right.
So the idea that it's all, but that's that protective thing of like, oh my God, like this, the sky was falling when DC made the idea to do Hoopla trade releases, day of in the shop. The same thing, and everyone freaked out, and that was like 7 years ago. And it didn't affect anything.
Remember when
the greatest thing?
Remember
when they decided to release digital comics day and date?
Yeah.
That was going to be the implosion of the direct market.
Joe, do you remember when they were doing motion comics on YouTube, and that was the death of comics? And remember the guy that owned our store was like, "It's over, like gun in his mouth, ready to go." We were like, "Whoa!" First of all, this sucks.
You guys survived. You guys survived an actual literal market collapse.
Right.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
A stock market crash for your industry actually happened.
Yeah, like a pets.com
and you held
level
on.
Annihilation of the industry.
.com bubble. Yeah, right. And you're worried about new technology. It's like the people that you're punishing, DC, the people that you're punishing with your $6.99 digital comic are not going to go to a comic book store.
Yeah, that's not how they learn their lesson. It's not how they learn their lesson. They go, skip it, whatever. I'll watch something on YouTube, or I'll play a video game, or I'll, have some more goofballs.
They're just not going to read it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Skip it. Or they're going to pirate it.
That's the other side. That's the other side of this.
You guys know how look, man, we don't condone it. But do you know how easy it is to read comics for free if you want to?
It's easier than subscribing to something and downloading and knowing where they all are.
It's easier. Yeah, it's literally the easiest thing to do to engage with comics.
Yeah.
And
again, we are not condoning this.
You
This
got
is
to
on
remember
YouTube.
to turn the VPN on first. That's what you got. That's the hard part.
Sure, right. Right.
There's a pro tip right there, buddy.
I mean, you don't even have to download them, man. Like
Let's not lay it out anymore.
I'm just saying, like if people want to support you, but with money,
make it easy.
Give them a reason to.
Make it easy, make it affordable, and don't act like we won't be able to pay the creative teams because that's bullshit. And Brian, you're absolutely right. 99 cents. That should be your price, and watch what happens. People go, well, that's nothing. I'll buy 10 books. It's only $10. But if I say, oh, I want to read all the Bat titles that came out this weekend. It's Batman Day, by the way. Happy Batman Day, everyone. I want to read all the Bat titles that came out this week for Batman Day. I'm just pulling a number out of my head, but I believe there's 8 that hit the stands on Wednesday.
87 Batman titles came out this week.
And one of them is a big tie-in to the Batman Catwoman War. So that's like a $5 title right there. The rest of them are all $3.99, $4.99. Okay, $56 for this week for digital comics? $56 goddamn dollars?
You know, I saw a thing.
Yeah. That's insane.
I saw a thing. I saw a video on TikTok last night. And I don't know if this is true or not, but it sounds like it's plausible. But coming up next week,
Trump
early
did
next
win,
week,
Joe. He did. We all know it.
No, yeah. Sometime next week, I think it's like the 18th, maybe, or it's like National Cheeseburger Day, and the fast food restaurants, Hardee's, McDonald's, Burger King, what have you. Are Carl's Jr. for you other non-Midwesterners.
Hardee's isn't even a thing anymore. There's some privately owned ones, but it's all.
Well, yeah, but still, I mean, yeah, it's still
Carl's Jr.
Thing in New York.
Still a
I can
chain.
tell you that much. Yeah.
But they are doing crazy promotions. Like you can go into Hardee's and buy a cheeseburger for a penny. And McDonald's is selling them for 50 cents, and White Castle is doing like buy one get one free. Like
that almost seems like a great idea to get someone to eat a cheeseburger.
Right. It's just like and I understand like we're talking about two different things, and food costs are different than paying people for their labor and time in terms of comic creation. It's not an apples to apples kind of thing. But if these companies, these huge companies, are like, yes, for these 3 days in September, we're going to sell food so cheaply that like millions of people are going to come into our restaurants.
Yeah.
And comics can't do something similar? Like we can't figure out any way.
Every comic shop in the world should have a Batman Day today. And DC should be like, here is your free Batman comic that you can give away. With checklists like, here's all the Batman shit that you should read if you love Batman or you don't love Batman or you're returning to Batman or you want to know what's going on in Batman right now.
Yeah.
Do the work.
You know something? Like, I mean, that's a perfect example. I mean, it's now dead. But when Comixology was at its height, I'm telling you, I bought oodles of stuff because they used to have
hundreds of dollars.
Those big, those deals of $5 trades or something.
Those trades. Oh my god, I bought so many trades on Comixology.
Correct.
Oh, I've never read one of them, but I bought dozens.
I still have a few that are there, but yeah,
I think I could probably find them on my Amazon account somewhere, but they're like, why? It's too hard.
All those Excalibur trades I'll read someday, but not today.
I've got.
Hey, but you know what? It will work in comic book shops. It will get you through the door.
It will.
Less on the digital side, but
Free Comic Book Day still does it every year.
Right. Yep. In 2001, 2002, I forget which year the first one was, but we were there for it.
2001. Yeah.
Joe Field, the owner of Flying Colors Comics, came up with this idea, Free Comic Book Day. And for some reason, he convinced, like they went to the Diamond Retailer Summit, he pitched it to everybody, and everyone was like, yeah, that sounds great. And they did free.
Sorry.
So free Comic Book Day, like Matt and I were in the trenches in 2002 for the first Free Comic Book Day. And let me tell you, it was a phenomenon from day one, from year one. And like, that's it. We came up with one good idea and we do it once a year.
Right. But there should be micro free comic, Batman Day, Captain America Day.
There's Halloween
Spider-Man
Comic Fest.
Day.
Like, right.
Halloween
But
comic
nobody
yeah.
ever talks about it.
Yeah. Horror comic. It's horror comics month at your comic shop. And like, seriously, if we want to get
there
this to
should
people,
be a monthly event. There should be some sort of monthly event.
Stop punishing people for trying to read and collect comic books. Stop
Listen,
it.
if these small, I can tell, and I just want to say this point, it supports everything you just said. If smaller bookshops that I see in my neighborhood does this, there's no reason that any of that stuff shouldn't be happy with comic books.
Exactly. Because you know what? Selling books without pictures, just as hard. That market has also collapsed.
Harder.
Even harder now that it's all digital. And they've figured out.
Yeah, and and there are always, like, when, I don't know about you guys, but when I see an independent bookstore, I go in and try to buy something.
Right on.
Like if I'm in a new city or visiting somewhere, like, let's go check it out, because it's that community thing and trying to help people and do that. But I think the expansion of the comic market, like for every Legend Comics, which seems like an amazing store, and maybe someday I'll make it out there.
You should do it.
There are, the problem is it's, I think 1,500 miles away.
Yeah.
There are
in a flyover state. I get it.
I'm 50 miles further away than Jason Kaplan, or James Kaplan. But I looked it up.
Quit showing off.
He's in the Boston area.
Yeah.
He's in Boston. But for every Legend, there's 25, like, what is Android Dungeons, worst comic shop you've ever seen.
In our area, it was called Comic City.
And they're the worst store that you've ever seen, and you hate going in there, but it's the only comic shop in your city or state, or and so these amazing metropolitan ones, like in Omaha, the metropolis that you are, the Midwest, and then but you get all these little. Like, I have a Newbury Comics, which is like it's like a music. It's basically a Funko Pop store that sells records and comics.
Yes, sure.
But it's a chain in New England, and there's one a half an hour from me, and that's the closest comic shop I have that's that sells things. That's where I got the Distillery book a couple weeks ago.
That's a brutal bump, but
it's a great chain, but like it's super inconsistent, and they do free comic book day, and it's amazing, but like it's not, and they'll order whatever you want. Like, it's a good store, but they don't buy everything. I go in there looking for big 2 titles that I miss, but like, and it's a pretty good shop, and they're barely there. So there are those, all, quarter bins full of books from the 90s, just those dusty, gross, smelly, old food smelling places. And they're not going to do a monthly free comic book day.
Well, and that's
they don't.
You're right, and that's to go back
City
to
smelled like cat pee.
To go back to Joe's food metaphor, if the cheeseburgers don't sell, well, you just throw them away. They're garbage. They're going to go bad. If the comics
that's
don't,
the other thing, right?
If the comics don't sell, where do they go? They go to storage that you are paying to keep them in. Right now, I would also argue part of that issue is a lot of comic shops that say, no, I will not part with this comic for less than the $50 I saw it go for on eBay that one time, or no, there's no way I will accept just my money back to break even on this comic to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Nope, we got to mark it up $1.25 and put it and file it. And I get it. You got to pay people to do that. It's tough. But there also has to be a mindset of get this in the door and get it out the goddamn door. And it's better for sales, period. It's better for more readers.
Like department stores and big box stores, they figured this shit out years ago. It's called a loss leader.
Right. You walk into Walmart and it's like $2 hammers. Shit, I don't even need one. I'm going to buy 4,
Right. Or while I'm here buying this $2 hammer, I also see a $300 chainsaw
and an AK-47,
right, an AR-15,
everything I need,
right? I'm at Walmart and I'm like, oh, they got an AR-15.
Ammo.
Right, exactly.
And it's just like, and the other difference is that McDonald's does not have thousands of cheeseburgers prepared and ready to go at any given moment, like a comic book store.
That's the hard
has
part.
Thousands of comics with a limited shelf life, like you can do, so the analogy is not perfect, but the idea that these corporations are basically going to like give product away,
Right.
Essentially, right? Like pennies. And on a global, huge global scale. And like the comic book industry came up with one good idea.
Yeah. But we don't have to worry about the industry. The shops can do better too. If I'm a shop owner and it's Batman Day, all my Batman shit's 50% off. I don't care what it is. It's all 50% off. We're celebrating Batman.
Or you have to make yourself off with the purchase of something else.
Yes, I'm playing the Batman music all day, or there's Batman movies on.
Batman 89's on the TV.
Everybody's wearing Batman t-shirts. We friggin' love Batman, you know?
And you have to make like for things like this to work, for the idea of like get them in the door and then dazzle them and make it impossible for them to walk out without giving you money.
Yeah.
For that kind of thing to work, you have to be okay with the idea, to your point, Matt, that you have to be okay with the idea of selling that comic on the back wall.
Right.
For less than market value or whatever. Like, don't sell things at a loss. I mean, I get it. Like, whatever.
If you're smart, you marked it up 50% anyway. So
right. It's okay for you to sell that back issue for half off, even though it's hot,
right,
quote unquote. Because while that person is there, or the person that came with them, or the 100 other people that are in the door because of the sale, they might walk out of there with armfuls of omnibus books.
Yeah.
Or like Free Comic Book Day. No shit. I'm telling you, people walked out of Free Comic Book Day at Legend Comics and Coffee back in the day with like the entirety of the Hellboy library.
Yeah. Even
the big fuzzy book ones.
Manner of bullshit walked out the door.
It's just like people came and it's like, and the sale on trades was like 20-30%.
Right.
Like,
well, not just that, though. The back issues.
Still selling things as a profit.
All right, all back issues are like 30 to 40% off. We're like, great, I'm going to finish my Micronauts run. Why the hell not?
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, it's just like, right on. I remember talking to that guy, and he's like, look at these Bill Sienkiewicz covers. These are great. He's like, I don't even care about the comics, but I love Bill Sienkiewicz. And he's like, gotta get these. I'm like, great time to buy them, bro, you know?
And I think it kind of illustrates, I think the main thing going against the comic book industry, the direct market, is that and I hate to think this way, but they're all different people.
Yes.
Right? It's not like it's one thing for McDonald's at the top of the umbrella to make a decision, and then it trickles down to every other thing in the umbrella, every other restaurant in the chain.
Well, it helps that they put, mind control drugs in their food too. So,
sure, right. Yeah. GMOs, all the stuff.
Yeah.
And
don't get me started.
Right. But like the comic industry doesn't have that. You know, there are like, there's maybe, I would say less than 10 comic book chains, and I'm talking more than 2 stores,
probably
on the planet Earth. You know, Graham Crackers,
Mile High,
Mile High, right? And so there's no way, there's no like comic book union. There's no like one person or one committee making decisions that are like, okay, here's how it is. And it's like Brian said, you know, for every store that's like Legend or whatever, or Golden Apple, or you know, any of the other great shops in the world, there's way more people that just don't give a shit.
Yeah, and it's easy
that
not
want to be
to.
set in their ways.
We don't even have sales charts anymore, so we don't know what a success is. Now that you've taken everything, but look, I'm not saying Diamond, they were the best. God, I love you. No, Diamond Comics was a monopoly, should have been broken up, absolutely. But we don't have sales charts anymore, so we don't know what success is. There was a whole thing last week where Image put out like some sales chart saying like, here's our number ones for the last 20 years and how they sold. And people looked at it and went, oh shit, this is the death of independent comics. And Image was like, well, actually, no, we're pretty happy with like how the recent number ones have sold and stuff like that. It's like, but you don't have any sales charts anymore. We can't look at it. We just assume Batman is the biggest selling, X-Men is the biggest selling. Like, you don't know. Mm-hmm. And until comic shops can get it together some way or another, and I'm not saying they have to unionize or all shake hands and admit like We were mad for, Israel and Palestine reasons that we can't even fucking remember. But like, we could figure something out where we can track our sales and have a voice to say, stop doing this. This doesn't help. Do more of this. We see a direct correlation to this helping,
Right. And I think,
It's
I mean,
nothing
I
like
think
that.
I think the answer is I think it would be great if there was a comic book store union and not,
it'd be kick ass. Sure.
some sort of thing. And there is one. It's called Comics Pro. And it was founded in part by the same guy that invented Free Comic Book Day. And Comics Pro was a pretty big voice for a while, but I haven't heard a peep
I think they're
from
long
or
gone.
about Comics Pro in years.
I think they're long.
Well,
gone.
that was 20 years ago, right? So
Right.
how old was that guy 20 years ago?
Yeah.
In his
Well, I mean,
30s?
yeah.
You know,
he's still,
like,
if he was 30 years old, that makes him 110 now. So,
but but like that, it starts to get harder.
Yeah.
When you're in your, late 50s,
Well, and he
60s
wasn't
to do these
like-
things, and
he wasn't running the show like
and just
alone
think
or
of the
anything, but yeah, your
microcosm
point.
that
I
is your local comic shop scene. Everyone hates each other. They hate each other. Like
Yeah, all the
local, when we
competitors,
try
yeah.
and do comic shows here, other local comic shops will find out like, oh, that shop's setting up there? No, I'm out. You don't get any of my money. I should have been the only one. I can't believe you didn't ask me. Screw it. Like they hate each other. So
He's laying it on a little.
getting
thick.
them
It's not
all
quite
to
right.
agree on something like
there's-
this? I'm not wrong.
But
You
there's
know I'm
always
not
that
wrong.
competition, I'll undersell so and so.
Yeah.
It's such a niche thing, and it's so hard to do that. I talking about the sales charts is interesting because I really don't know how, and this is a complete outsider who just watches the industry for 20 something years, how effective it is to know what sold like 3 months ago. There's trends, but
There's trends.
I love those articles. They did they used to do it at Bleeding Cool all the time. Like the best sellers of the week, where like 8 or 9 shops would email Rich Johnson and say, these were my top sellers. And there'd be surprises.
That was Brian Hibbs was doing that, right? That was he was doing that column, I think.
Brian Hibbs used to do a lot of, he still does his column, but he used to do a lot more like industry sales kind of stuff.
But
I remember what Brian's talking about.
There are little anomalies, like little bumps where it's like, listen, I ordered 15 copies, which I wasn't sure about, and we sold out in a day.
Yeah.
And this is of like some lower tier DC book, it's like, and seeing the trends, I think and I'm sure they all, I know there's Facebook groups because something always leaks about something bad that happens, but they all talk about that stuff.
Sure.
I don't know by saying, like, I always find them really depressing. Like, because, the joke is always like standard attrition, the guy who was doing it at the Comics Beat, every comment was standard attrition. It's like, every book sold less this month than that month and the month before.
Of course. Standard
attrition. It's like, oh my God, so fucking depressing. Like every book is selling less than the one before. One book comes out, everyone orders high because it's issue 1 and they want the variants and blah, blah, blah. And then by issue 7, it's down, standard attrition. So like there's so little growth that I don't know that it's healthy to see those numbers, but I think people don't. There's no other frame of reference, so they're like, "Where are those numbers?"
We don't have anything. I agree
to know that? Yeah,
I agree, but I think in the absence of anything, then you have no data. And honestly, if we can use data to look and go,
your own, like the companies have their data, and then the stores have their own data. If you don't know what your books are selling, you don't deserve to have a store.
I agree, right? But no one is sharing. That's the other thing. No one is sharing any data. So Night Terrors may have been a massive success at your shop and good for your shop. I guarantee the rest of the United States did not order the Angel Breaker 1, 2-part miniseries. I promise you they didn't. And if they did, they ordered 3 copies because they're like, this is a dumb idea, DC. And DC may or may not learn that lesson, but without a larger look at that in scope, we don't have a way for a lot of retailers look and go, oh, that was a terrible idea. Please don't do that again. I don't know
maybe
how
it's valuable to,
we don't know.
To 200 retailers to criticize a book they didn't order. It's just, it's like,
fair.
That doesn't give new information. DC knows DC's distributed by Lunar. Lunar is my distributor because it's a discount comic book service. I tell them what I want every month. They send it to me the second. Like I got it in 2 days, a giant box of all the stuff I wanted at a great discount. They know I know, like, as a one-man comic shop, I could tell you what I've bought. I've got records of everything going back 20 years. Like, it's like they know exactly what everyone is getting at every spot. It's all it's digitized in there, and they know who didn't buy what, and there probably won't, but maybe there was a little, there must have been something that made them do an Angel Breaker miniseries. There must have been some heat somewhere, because something. Otherwise, why bother?
No, I don't know.
But there had to be something. There's a bump, and then they can see it. And so,
I can name 20. I can name 20 other characters aside from Angel Breaker off the top of my head that were more deserving of a 2-issue tie-in to Night Terrors.
Orpheus.
Yeah,
but for some reason, but you're right. For some reason, DC was like, okay, we have this idea. Oh, and Tim Seeley, I think, he pitched a good idea for it. Whatever, let's do it. And right, like these decisions aren't being made at random. So like they know what they're doing. They know what's selling. It is frustrating for people like Matt and I, or other, I don't even want to give us that much credit, but industry analysts, for people that are in the business of knowing these things. And
highly regarded industry analysts, like two-headed nerd.
Pundits. We're pundits. Like to not see that, to have a lack of that reporting, to not be able to say, oh, X was a success, Y was a failure.
Literally every other industry in the world has it.
Well, we don't know that they don't have it. We only know that they're not reporting it.
Right.
Yeah, but if another industry had the standard attrition report, go back to the comics beat and look at 2 years ago, everything is worse than it was the month before. Everything except when something went up, it's like, oh, there's a little bump. Why was that?
Yeah,
it went up 0.02% because there were, and that means 11 more copies were sold. Like,
and why would you want to keep publishing that? Why would you want to keep publishing that report? Right? Like, why would you want to keep?
It sucks. I read it every month, but it sucks.
I need it.
Really, it's like
I need it.
Here is you need a monthly.
I need it. I love sales
background
reports
of a dying. It's a dying industry.
We used to look at them. Well,
every
sure.
month.
I mean, like, it's a dying industry. I agree, but I need it. We used to look at them when we were making ordering decisions. As an engineer, I love numbers. I love data. Like, give me that shit. I need.
I do too, but on another industry, that's why I just don't read any more wrestling dirt sheets for the most part. I obviously know some stuff, but it's too depressing if I'm trying to enjoy the actual product.
Oh yeah, so. With wrestling, I want to stay in kayfabe. I don't want to hear like oh, Matt Riddle got sexually assaulted at RFK. Really?
I mean,
really,
he's a mess though. But
like,
that's a whole. I know
didn't
him
you
personally,
sexually assault a bunch of people, Matt?
That's a whole other topic. But he actually
we've lost control. We've lost him, Brian. We've lost control.
It was an hour before the comic talk really took over.
Yeah.
But there you go. Yeah,
but hey, before we go,
you know what? We had a good run.
Before we bug out,
we did.
I don't know if anybody knows anything about copyright law. I'm legitimately curious what you guys think about this Bill Willingham Fables thing. Like,
I swear to you, the first thing I thought about was Michael Scott standing up in the office and going, "Declare bankruptcy."
Bankruptcy.
You can't just like put a post on the internet that says public domain,
right?
And I get it. Like, he's clearly
reset it real quick. Reset what he did real quick.
There's more to it. Okay, yeah.
Just reset what he did real quick.
I will. So Bill Willingham has been in a pretty heated battle with DC because of the delays in the Vertigo revival or the Fables revival. And
don't say Vertigo.
It's very, very late. And
let's see the sales charts on the revival, by the way.
Sure, right.
Oh, I bet they're ugly.
They're ugly. And Willingham has said, it's like, I turned in those scripts 2 years ago. And yeah, Mark Buckingham has been busy doing the Miracle Man revival, which also never comes out, but it's not his fault. Like, he's not missing deadlines.
Agreed.
And so like DC somewhere is dropping the ball and Fables is suffering. Like, it's not coming out, and he's been after them and having a public feud with them. And Fables is a creator-owned property, and I know we'll get into this in a second, but Fables is creator owned. It is owned by Willingham,
Right.
and
Creator of the Big Bad Wolf.
yeah, right.
Well, he created
And,
Cinderella, and he created the Jack
Right.
of Hearts.
All right. We'll get into that. We'll get into
Pied
that.
Piper.
Yeah, Pied Piper, all of this.
And so Willingham
Peter Pan.
put out just as a to throw his hands in the air and say, I've had it. If DC's not going to do it, then I'm going to give it to everybody. And so he posted on his Substack that he has now declared Fables to be a public domain property. And it sounds silly, but he's not completely wrong.
Right.
Like, he does have certain rights.
Like, how do they stop him from going, I'm going to put it out myself with these characters? They can't. Right?
Well, no, they can't. That's where it gets murky, because there's two different things at play. There's copyright law,
right.
and then there's trademark law. And so while Willingham can say that Fables is in the public domain and say, yeah, Joe Schmo can put out whatever comic he wants about the big bad wolf, he can't do reprints of the old trades.
No. DC obviously
DC still owns
that.
the rights.
Right.
Yeah, you can't do anything with the old Fables, the world building. You can't sell any trades or collections of that material. If you wanted to make all new Fables, ground zero, this is Fables, then sure. But what good does that do him, right?
Yeah.
It's basically him trying to call DC's bluff. He's trying to get them to react.
Yeah, he doesn't honestly believe he's going to do this, right?
Well,
What's he going to do? He hasn't been able to he wrote scripts 2 years ago that haven't been drawn.
Yeah.
Right.
Who's going to draw them? Get someone else to draw them. Find some other right-wing artist. Where's John Malin? Let him draw them. Find some
under the Comicsgate banner.
Suddenly Bigby is ripped and he's covered in pouches.
Yeah, Ethan Van Sciver.
Right, Bigby. Come
Yeah.
on. It's the
Got a
idea that
bionic
he's
arm.
Big B
You
talking
can't
about
stop
women
me
in the
these
working
days.
place and stuff. It's going to be great.
It's gonna be awful. He's awful. This is the dumbest thing.
This is the dumbest thing. I agree.
I kind of respect it as a punk rock, fuck you, DC, damn the man, kind of if you're not going to do it, then nobody can, or everybody can, or whatever. But you're right. It's what can possibly happen? Do you really does Bill think that his audience is gonna people in his audience or other creators that he knows are gonna be totally into okay, sure, let's do a Big B Wolf miniseries.
Right.
And it's not gonna have anything to do with anything.
Right.
That's where the waters are further muddied, because yes, it's haha Cinderella, whatever, but all of the characters in Fables are derivative. They are their own characters, right? The version of Cinderella in Fables is not the same Cinderella from the fairy tales.
Sure.
And so okay.
But that story, as written,
by the way,
under the name Fables, is owned by DC, where they fleshed out a Cinderella run or whatever.
Fables is creator owned, but trademark covers publishing rights and reprint rights and things like that. And so saying it's public domain is only part of the puzzle. It's like giving somebody a car, but then not telling them how to make it go. Or not putting gas in it, right? You can't.
Unless he decides he's going to be like WordPress, right? Where it's it's free for everybody, build whatever you want it. But then Fables becomes a giant
Fables webcomics,
a fan fiction project. You know
something. I do have. This is an actual question. Yeah, no. I have an actual question though. Do you remember Once Upon a Time?
Yes.
On television?
Yeah, the TV show.
Yeah. Once Upon a Time. Yeah. It was terrible.
Did he give any flack at the time when that came out? Because
there was some drama about the similarities between the two.
Well, because there was supposed to be a Fables TV show that got killed. It never happened.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So I mean, it happened.
That's my totally derivative work. You can't do that. It's my
exactly
right.
That's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous. Right.
Totally.
It's very silly. It's a headline grabbing move for sure. It's really just it's an attention grabbing move.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing, right?
Well, who was talking about him 2 days ago? Nobody.
No one was.
Right, exactly. That's true.
But then DC responded, and their response is 2 2 sentences long. It's great.
It's like
just like
it's LOL no. Yeah.
right. Yeah, exactly. It's like LOL no. Right. And
otherwise, just go work for Zenescope. They're doing it right now. Sexy Cinderella
right,
versus sexy
Robin Hood with a Y.
Female Zorro, or whatever. Oh, okay.
And it's interesting, but also very silly once you stop to think about it, because you can't just suddenly give away. Also, it's not how public domain doesn't work like that. You can't just say out loud or in a post that thing is a public domain.
Like, literally,
there's
walk into the DC offices and go, Fables is public domain. Like, oh no! Oh shit, he did it!
Like I saw some people like that have some knowledge about this kind of stuff talking about it, and it's like, for something to become public domain, there's like paperwork involved with the Copyright Office, with the government. There's like, it's
the Winnie the Pooh horror thing.
It used to be the thing. Like
Brian posted the movie, the Winnie the Pooh horror thing, where like Winnie the Pooh fell into public domain, literally did.
Oh boy!
Because somebody at Disney wasn't paying attention, or who knows. But this group of people did the paperwork and went, "Yep, this is public domain." It got transferred. We immediately get a
horror movie,
wildly horrible Winnie the Pooh horror movie. But there was a shitload of like legal and paperwork stuff that had to happen first. They didn't just go like, it's ours, make a horror movie, you know?
Well, and it's not that, like, I don't think that anybody at Disney like dropped the ball or anything, but I think that
it's just time.
Copyright law, like,
I think Eeyore dropped
there's
the ball
a certain
on that
point
one,
where I think it's 100 years, right? I think like there's a line in the sand where it's like, okay, this thing is no longer the property of a corporation.
Right.
So someday soon, like the Wizard of Oz will be like up for grabs, and we'll see all kinds of weird shit.
I believe it already is.
Did, by the way.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz already is.
Years ago, Todd McFarlane.
That's why we see like sci-fi remade, like, you know, like violent Wizard of Oz, and then you get like, oh, fun Wizard of Oz, anime Wizard of Oz, because it's out there.
And so public domain just happens at a certain point, but like we're years away from that as far as anything like comics wise.
Cap or Spidey.
Well, not that far. Like I don't know, man. Action Comics #1 came out in 1938.
Yeah.
No,
and
it's going to be a sad day when any asshole can put out a Superman comic.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I am 100% creator rights, and I think people need to be, you know, they put the effort in. They deserve everything they got coming to them. Not everyone has a good idea.
Agreed.
And I mean, I don't want anyone to do it, but if you accidentally stumble onto a fan fiction site, you'll see the horrors of people and their bad ideas.
Oh yeah,
right.
Because it's just garbage.
And you know who I don't want to see putting out a Superman comic? Ethan Van Sciver.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Finally, he can tell the real stories.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you that like I'm all for creators' rights, but there's also something to be said for how these beloved icons have been shepherded along.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And not always successfully, but you know, to suddenly say it's like, okay, well, I guess any asshole can put out a Superman comic or a Fables comic or whatever. It's that's not a good. That's a bad.
Go to the bar and see what happens when the public chooses the soundtrack on the jukebox. You know, like.
Oh yeah,
man. Sometimes it makes me want to just stand up and go, "Who played this?" Because I'm going to punch your face. You know, like, this is not ironic. It is not funny. And if you do like it, there's something wrong with you. All right?
Yeah, you have a bad opinion.
It's weird, and like we're not copyright lawyers, we're not trademark lawyers, and so like everything that we know, we learned from reading things written by smarter people than us. Sure. But the consensus does seem to be that like Willingham is
out of his mind.
Not really like doing anything to better his cause.
Yeah. Guys, good gang hang today. This was great. And again, housekeeping note, these are going to live on YouTube going forward, so they will never disappear. So again, don't say anything that'll get you fired. That's all we ask. Those are the rules. I'm going to get out of here. You guys are more than welcome to keep going though. Love you all. And we'll see you next week for another gang hang. Thanks, my dudes.
Later, dude.